welcome back.
Smiling.
Another bloody episode of Are You Not Entertained? And we've won. We've won. We've literally, well, I say literally, we've not long watched the game against Burnley. We obviously won 4-0, chaps, which is good news. Two goals from the king, the returned king, Bale. He's looking truly back. You just wait, Peter. You can talk about that later. 2 goals from Bale, 1 goal from Kane, and 1 goal from Moura. And it was certainly not from lack of trying that Moura got his goal. But we got the 4, and it was a good performance. And we'll go a bit through it, boys. But first of all, are you in good mood? Peter, are you in good mood? How are you feeling?
Fickle football. I'm in a very good mood.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sun is shining, and roll on June 21st. We're all feeling a bit better. Ollie, you feeling more positive? Spurs won. The world's going to come back golden. It's all on the up.
I'm always looking on the bright side of life, Jez. You know that. So yes, of course I'm happy. Always positive. Even in defeat, try and find some sort of positive. But we won, so don't need to look for the positives. They're already there in plain sight.
Absolutely. And I'm happy, boy, because I bought some new teeth. My teeth have slowly progressed, and my wispiness is going away, and I'm whitening it. Currently in the process of whitening them.
Oh wow!
Just so you all know, so you're going to be gorgeous. By the time June 21st comes around, I'm going to be so fit. They're going to be so great to stay at home and not really go out anyway. But yeah, let's go through it, boys. Normally, we tend to talk about the lineup first, and I actually popped a tweet out saying I was actually pretty content when I saw the lineup. The team came out. Pete, what was your first thought? Any discrepancies? What did you think of it?
Only more in the 10, but I kind of understand it because it's almost he's trying to do that quick burst on the counter, and if you've got him, Sonny, and Bale all springing forward at the same time, because he has got better recently of carrying ball and being a bit more direct. When he gets it wide, he's not direct at all. But when he gets it centrally, he goes at people, which I don't really understand. But yeah, I still don't think he's the long-term solution in the 10, but I kind of get a little bit why he's playing it. I still would rather see a 3 in midfield, despite the fact we won forward. And I'm not trying to be negative because we did play well, but I still think you'd get more out of those midfield 2 with a 3rd one in there. But yeah, other than Moura being in there, was the only real one where I was a bit like, I don't mind it, I don't hate it, but there's other people I'd rather see ahead of him.
No, I kind of agree. Ollie, what did you think when you saw the team? Similar vibes? Or
yeah, similar vibes, sure? More in the 10. I think that back 4 is possibly our best back 4. At least it should be our best back 4, with Alderweireld and Sanchez in there. Obviously, as the game panned out, we kind of saw how much we actually missed Aurier and Reguilon either side of sort of, covering the wings and dropping back and sort of covering in behind. Reguilon in particular is excellent at doing that. But yeah, I think on paper, it's possibly our best back 4. But yeah, and then Moura's only one. Again, it works, but I don't quite understand how or why it works.
Yeah, because tell you what, let's talk about Moura a little bit before or just very quickly actually, in terms of the lineup, I was the same, except for I still think that Mourinho's way too rash in his decision that Tanganga is a right back, and everyone's talking about Rodon or playing Sanchez next to Toby. I think Toby being there, by the way, was huge, and you could see how he organised it, and they were a lot more solid. But I would like to see Tanganga next to him. If I was picking genuinely, I think Tanganga could be a special centre-back. It's just my opinion. I don't see it in the training all the time, so I don't know. But I think he's solid. I think he would learn. I think he listens and genuinely wants to improve. He seems like a real humble guy who would just take on any piece of information and could be built and moulded into anything you want. So I think you could make him into a very special centre-half. But regardless, so let's talk about Moura, because I don't know if it's funny or watching him play, or if it's just strange, or if he does good. Like he scored a goal. But like you're saying, Pete, with him being direct, he made a few counters to happen. Do you remember when he sprinted forward, fell over, and just about managed to pass it across the center? Like, I don't know what to make of him. I feel like it's a comedy when it shouldn't be when you're watching football.
He's very erratic, isn't he? He's like, you feel like when you watch him, his brain's working overtime. Like I feel like constantly. Do you remember like the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
Where they like filmed it of them like running through the woods. In my head, whenever he gets the ball, he seems to me like he's being chased in a horror movie. So he's like, and just constantly all over the place, which like completely throws you. Like, but then he has moments of real quality. So there was one where he got slipped. I think Sonny slipped him, and he took 2 touches. One killed it, one pushed it around the centre half, and he was in 1-on-1. And then he panics and hits it straight at the keeper. He doesn't even try and
that's a different one.
Different one, yeah. No, one where he hits it straight at Nick Pope and doesn't even try and find a corner.
Yeah,
and it's just like the irregularities and the rashness is what stops him being a genuine starter in that team, probably.
I mean, how old is he, Mora? 27, 28?
Yeah, he must be 28.
So I mean,
his hairline says he's 45, but
bless him. His hairline's been like that since he was about 18, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just tells you. I think he is what he is now. I think he is that player. He's going to have that night in Amsterdam, and then he's going to play like today and nick a goal, do some good stuff, do some hilarious stuff, do some god awful stuff as well. There was the one where he sort of slipped over right on the edge of our box, didn't he, with the ball, and we recovered just about. I think Ndombele fell over, then he fell over, and we just about sort of got rid of it. But yeah, I think he is what he is now, really. But like I said, I don't understand. We're playing well. He scored against West Ham as well, and he was actually pretty good, to be fair to him.
Yeah, 2-2.
He could probably do with another night in Amsterdam to calm him down and gain a bit of composure. Because like Pete say, so erratic. Maybe we need to get him in Amsterdam a bit more. Have a few puffs of the old Golden Dragon, and then he'll be all right.
Speak to Stevie, sort him out.
Yeah, no, we don't know for a fact.
Don't speak to Coco. You go way the other way, then you're even more erratic.
Oh Christ, I had 2 of them.
You want to chill, you go over to Stevie's. You want a bit of a party, you go over to the Mellors for the party.
Christmas at the Mellors.
The interesting, Ollie, like you said before, about the back four, that being our best back four. Pete, do you agree that's our best back four, or do you line with the thinking? For me, I would take out Sanchez. I'd give up on him, and I'd go for Tanganga and build him into the partner. And also, you need to buy a replacement for Toby, because that is the problem. Do you need 2 centre-backs or 1 centre-backs? That's what I thought. You need to mould someone and buy another, because you ain't going out and buying 2.
Yeah. The other thing for Toby is because he's the elder statesman, he has to play left side, which is, I think, is really not talked about enough. Yeah. How difficult it is to play left side of centre half as a right-footed centre half, because you can't open up and play down the line like you'd like to if you're on the other side, which is why we were so good with Toby and Jan, because we had such a good balance of having a left footer on the left side and a right footer obviously on the right side. So I'd like us to see us go out and buy another left footed centre half. In terms of the question, I think they're your best fullbacks easily, and Toby's your best centre half, and then it is just a merry-go-round of who do you play with him. I think it's interesting what you said, Oz, that he seems to see Sanchez as his best centre half and who to play with Sanchez. And actually, I don't mind Sanchez alongside Toby, because, like you say, he clearly coached him through the game today. And actually, Sanchez played really well. He dealt. Then he was dealing with Vidra and Jay Rodriguez. I think he would have had a completely different game if they were playing Barnes and Woods. I think he'd have got bullied, and I think he would have been outsmarted, because they're like wily centre forwards, aren't they? So I'd like to see him chuck Tanganga or Rodon in and blood them in, but I understand why he's going with Sanchez, because like we always say, he has everything to be a very good centre half, apart from the brain. And if he's got Toby next to him being his brain for him, then so be it. And if they keep keeping clean sheets, then why not?
I don't think he does, though, because it's not just a big part of it is his focus, and he does silly things, but also put that down to his passing technique and how he is on the ball. He's not composed. He doesn't dribble well. His passing technique to me is extremely shoddy. I think he lost the ball like 3 times today, but it gets forgotten very quickly. Like one of them was horrendous, like just a really straight pass straight into like their centre middle, their striker, for absolutely no reason.
I think right at the start of the game, he had a bit of a first minute, didn't he? He did like 3 things right on the bounce, wasn't it? And my initial response was, "Oh God, here we go. But he would recover fairly well. Just what Pete said as well. I said to the boys in the group chat that it appears to me that Mourinho is trying to find a partner for Sanchez rather than any other way around, because he seems to be the one that always plays. He was with Dyer, he's played with Rodon, he played with everybody. But interestingly, neither Rodon or Tanganga were in the squad at all today, I don't think, were they? Rodon definitely wasn't. I'm not sure on Tanganga. So the Rodon one's really weird because he wasn't put in the Europa League squad when we all thought he would be. And seemingly not getting a chance in the Premier League either. So strange.
Yeah, I guess he's a project, and they'll develop him. And Mourinho doesn't tend to like to play younger players, does he? So I think it'll be a slow burner, and hence maybe that's why Sanchez. But it's interesting to say it, because if Sanchez was considered to be, or in his opinion, his best centre back, I would get it if it wasn't Mourinho. Do you know what I mean? Like whenever managers come in, they're perhaps building a project and they're starting to think, who do I need to develop and build around? With Mourinho, it's all about here and now. So you'd think he would identify that Toby's the best centre half and then try and find. So maybe, but perhaps I don't agree. I think in a way, I think he knows Toby's better, or at this point he has to surely be around it. But he doesn't think Toby can play. I think he said he doesn't think he can play 2 games in a week, sort of thing. So it's a bit of playing around with that. But now let's talk about Bale. Let's talk about Gareth, because it was lovely to see him play. Even just one moment when he just sprinted past the left back.
Yeah, opened his legs up.
Oh, there he goes. Exactly. He's stretching his legs, wanting to have a run. Ollie, the boy's back. Can we fully say that Bale is back now? Can we?
I think we can. I think we've had a couple of games, 3 games on the bounce. West Ham, 4 games, isn't it? The 2 games against Wolfsburg, West Ham and Burnley. Probably a note there about the opposition he's been playing against, but yeah, he's looking like the Bale we wanted, and even after all these years, he still kind of makes you go a bit weak at the knees when you see him do some things, isn't he? Like that run down the wing, that sort of beautiful left foot sort of finish into the corner, a right foot finish. I was hoping to score a header. He got the perfect hat trick today.
I wasn't. But, I didn't want him to score a third.
I know you didn't, Peter. And why is that, Pete?
Because my niche prediction was a Gareth Bale brace, Oliver, and he got a brace. So no more for you, Gareth. 2's enough.
How many points? How many points is in the? Can we say it's 1 for getting the result right, 2 points for getting the niche, or is it 3 for the niche? Pete thinks 3.
Having got 2 niches correct, I think 3.
I think 3 is fair. It's very unlikely to happen, but I think it should. Yeah. We need to get very niche with our niches.
The other 2 can decide if it's not niche enough, and that is fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pete, on Bale's performance, what did you like the most, or what kind of gave you hope? Because this is off the back of a few, but this is the main one where I went, okay, come on then. What can you do now?
Yeah, you won. Well, he obviously got the faith in starting, which we'd all been calling for a week or so, and I think we were pretty certain it was going to happen when he didn't start on Thursday. But yeah, it was his whole performance. Obviously, he got the assist for H's goal. And first time round when he was here, I don't really remember him for his passing at all.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you just remember him for beating people, scoring worldies, and I suppose he had to carry the team that way. So he's kind of developed his game. Maybe in his first stint when he picked up that ball, maybe he would have gone on a run. But this time he's getting his head up and he's playing passes and stuff. And he switched a couple to Reguilon really nicely as well. But do you know what it felt like today? He still had more to give. There were times when he still looked like he was in first gear and he could really he can still turn it on even more kind of thing, which was my biggest enjoyment out of the whole thing. Like his first goal was good anticipation. I like that run coming from out to in. It's really difficult to deal with and mark. And it was really clear to see when the 2 Burnley defenders sat and then 2 stepped up and they didn't pick up that run coming in. It's so hard to mark against. Second one was a great finish. Like you said, the one where he opened up his legs and just went. But yeah, still felt like there was more to come from him, which is what's given me the most hope, is that I feel like if he gets a real run of games now, he's like a Rolls Royce and he's just going to be smoother and smoother. So yeah, fingers crossed. But I thought it was brilliant today. Really, really good. And actually a few times as well, tracking back, there was one point where he tracked it over to the left back side. And then I think Kane did really well to go back out and cover for him, but he saw where the danger was and sniffed it out, sort of thing. So Mourinho's obviously got him working a little bit as well. I think maybe he wasn't. I don't want to state him too much, but maybe he wasn't too ready to do that side of the game for Mourinho, and we did wonder about that. And I wonder if Mourinho's got into him that actually you can still do both sides of the game, like use Tanga as an example. But yeah, I thought it was very, very good, very good.
No, I agree, and I thought they understated that clip. The clip he plays for that for Kane's goal is special. It's a ridiculous clip, and Keane said that, oh, if you've got time, you can do that, but not everyone can do that. I don't care what you said. It was inch perfect, the pass, and it was ridiculous. So that I feel like deserved more praise. I know Keane was kind of playing a bit of a character that he likes to play. I don't think he even meant some of the things he said, but he was just playing up. But yeah, I thought it was spectacular and just enjoyable to watch. And also, I was pleased that he did. I thought Moo might take him off at half time just to rest his legs and be careful of him. At one point, I thought he was injured. He held his hamstring a little bit, didn't he? In the first half, and just to see him not get hurt was probably one of the best parts for me. I was almost like, yeah, okay, he's bagged a couple of goals. He's not got injured. He's been brought off pretty deep into the game. He's coming. He's back. We can do it. Here we go. And you've got a good little run now where you think, bag a goal against Fulham as well. Who do we have after that? Is it Palace?
Yeah, and then Arsenal, I think.
And then Arsenal. Yeah. So I just think, go on then, Bale. Go grab a couple of goals against Fulham. Look decent against Palace as well. And then turn up in the North London derby. And if he does that, let's say he scores the winner in the North London derby, or the loans of success. Suddenly the loans of success after being caned for so long. And I'd like us, if we could, boys, to dig up, because I think we've done a few tweets saying to people, don't give up on Bale. Second half of the season, he will come good. Let him get his legs going. And we didn't particularly deviate from that, apart from the Brighton game when we said we were concerned. So I'd like people to realise that we did back him and that we never wait. Some people were saying, get rid of Bale. Like, what was the point? Like, I think youngsters were caning him more than people a bit old like ourselves who actually saw him in the previous and knew what he meant to the club. Whereas youngsters on Twitter were sort of going, just like, piss him off and get rid. No respect. I saw at one point, I replied to some guy on Twitter today because he tweeted as if Moura throwing his arms up in the air when Bale's had a shot. And I love that. I replied to him, I said, like, what right does he have? Why does Moura think he'd be like, oh, Gareth, you should have passed that to me. What are you talking about?
Will he get the loan extended, do you reckon, or is this a season swan song?
If he carries on and performs anything like this, even every other game, I would extend it. Madrid are not going to want him back. They're going to want anything against it. So it wouldn't be that hard to negotiate, I don't think. I think it's already kind of set, isn't it, that it can be extended to its second year. And I think we'd be foolish to not do it, even just to have him in the camp and to be a proper winner again and run people up, because when he's on it, he's ridiculous. And if you get him and he goes through this second half of the season looking stronger, we'll keep him in that mode then and make sure the pre-season's good, make sure he keeps hungry, make him believe, give him that confidence again, make sure he's up for it, because it's been a long process to change him round and get him into gear. Why waste it? So what do you think, Pete?
I'd keep him. I'd keep him off at the back of today. Whatever he does the rest of the season, I'd keep him because I love him. No, I think you're right. I think if he can show it in the next few, if he stays fit as well, that's massive for him. If he can not get injured between now and the end of the season and prove that actually he's not breaking down after a certain amount of games each time, then that's massive, I think. So yeah, I'd be all over keeping him. At first, it was just nostalgia, and you were hoping that he could turn up, and then you kind of went, oh, it doesn't really seem like he's got it. Like you said against the Brighton games, like he don't fancy it. He just come back so he can be a bit happier around people to speak English and not as far from home sort of thing. And now he's starting to turn it on again. I agree with Ollie. We've got to be a little bit careful because the calibre of the teams that he's played so far. Like, don't get me wrong, West Ham are having a good season, but you know, he played well but didn't change the game. We still lost. And then you had the two games against Wolfsburg who were awful. And he's played very well today against a poor Burnley side. So we don't want to get too ahead because it's so easy to get ahead of ourselves. Like even the result today, suddenly we lose to Fulham midweek and we're miserable again. So it's like, let's not get carried away. But yeah, I would keep him if he stays fit and keeps performing. Then yeah, 100%.
Well, I'm going to get carried away about it. I reckon he's fully back. He's going to absolutely carry us through the rest of the season. I'll tell you what, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if he doesn't take us to the Europa League final, win it against City for us, and beat Arsenal in Bale. I'll be pissed because he's fully back and he's just going to boss it now. Touch wood, fingers crossed. But I'll tell you what, let's roll through. Has anyone got? I'll tell you, I've got one last thing actually to mention of the game. And I think it might go slightly under the radar. I thought Aurier was excellent, like low key excellent. Just not really noticed, but I thought it was such a difference. I actually would have probably started Doherty because he's been in good form and always come back from injury and just let Doherty kind of grow a little bit. And I thought his relationship with Bale looked very good. But I thought Aurier was excellent. Really, really, really good. So just little hats off to him.
Yeah, I think, do you know what was nice about him? We were talking about how Doherty and Bale were kind of forming a little thing together. Him and Bale actually worked really well together. There was quite a few times where it was a lot of it is to do with Bale's quality, but Aurier would play it into him. And then Bale's weight of first time touch to set Aurier still on the run inside. He did it 3 or 4 times, was so good. But yeah, I thought it was good. And if you can get the best out of him and you've got Regulon on the other side, then I'm all for it.
Tanguy got involved in that relationship a few times very nicely as well.
His role in the goal as well, the Bale's second goal was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That flick
around
the
corner for Sonny. Yeah.
Right, let's move it on. Ollie, you've got a tweet for us, and I've been waiting for this. Ollie's tweet of the week.
So during the week, I saw a very interesting tweet that I thought would be good for us to discuss today on the episode. We've always been quite keen to chat about sort of trophies versus league position, that type of thing, and where we sort of stand on that in sort of terms of like glory and all that sort of stuff. So this is the tweet, and I want your kind of instant reactions to it. All right. So the tweet says, "If Spurs win the Europa League, it is the biggest trophy our club has won since 1961. Think about that before anyone says that we are above it."
Well, yeah, I mean, who is saying that we're above the Europa League? I mean, at this point, we just come from a Champions League final, so obviously at that point it's disappointing to fall into the Europa League and to have taken a bit of fall from grace. But we're in it now. We're struggling in the league. We're not looking like anything special. We can't be deluded. We haven't won trophies and donkeys. So, no, I'd love to win the Europa League. I think it's a bit frustrating going through all the rounds. We've played the most games, haven't we, in all of Europe's top leagues. I think they said that today, even on Sky. It's just frustrating. There's too many games in the Europa. It's a bit of a joke. Some of the teams you play are like farmers. Barely play. Yeah, but if we win it, yeah, suddenly this is who you have to agree on. In my opinion, the season is a success if either Mourinho manages to somehow scramble top 4 or he manages to win the Europa League. The League Cup doesn't matter either way to me. It doesn't swing it either way. Would love to win it, yes, and it is somewhat of a success, but the season is defined, in my opinion, by whether or not you grab Europa or you get Champions League. And maybe that's me being like, some people hate that because it's not all about, it's not all about top 4. It's not all about being in the Champions League. It's naive to think it's not, in my opinion, because it's so huge financially for the club, not just financially, but also convincing players to stay. Does a Kane want to leave if we are in the Champions League? I don't think so. If we win the Europa League, I think it's so easy to convince those boys to stick around because something's happening here. We can carry on. If we get top 4, come on, we'll get a couple more bodies in. We'll impress more at the back, and then you go and do what you've been doing, and we will have a good season. I don't think that's hard of a battle cry compared to if you don't win the Europa League and you don't get top 4. I don't think it's been I think it's been a bit of a disaster here, to be honest, if that ends up being the case. Pete, well, go on, you go, mate.
These tweets always get me because they're like, when people say, "Oh, before you say our club's above it," like you said at the start, who's saying that? Because you go through to like people putting on things like, before you say we need to get rid of Gio or things like that, think about this. And you think, no one has said anything about getting rid of Gio. Who are you talking to when you tweet these things? I
did have a debate with a guy about Gio on Twitter just the other day.
For God's sake, what poor choice of analogy. You've ruined my analogy.
Yeah, I know. I won't name him.
Agree. I understand where people are coming from because it feels like a shit competition. Like they dump on it for a start by letting Champions League dropouts go into it, and it belittles it massively. Just let it be its own competition. and don't involve it with the Champions League at all. And I think it's right that if you win it, you get to go into the Champions League, but don't have the dropouts. But it'd be a massive achievement to win it. Massive, massive achievement to win it. Especially the only thing that the Champions League dropout thing does do is that it puts bigger teams in the competition. So then if you do go on and win it, it has a little bit more credibility than if it's just, like Jerry said, farmers. But yeah, I'd be all over us winning it. I understand the disappointment of it not being the Champions League, and you'd rather be in the Champions League. But like Jez says, you're in it. Why are you not playing to win it? I have no idea why you wouldn't go and win it. So yeah, I don't think we're bigger than it. I don't think any club should see themselves as bigger than a competition. It's like no player should see themselves as bigger than the club, sort of thing.
100%. But that being said, if you kind of flip it a little bit and you say like, oh, would you be happy to go and land in the Europa League? No. Like, and again, so once you're in it, you're in it. Okay, go win it. But before that, like earlier in the season or last season, we were saying, would we want to finish in the Europa League? No, we'd probably rather finish out of it and then not have Europe and have less games and then be able to concentrate on the league. So there's a debate round for that. But once you're talking about, oh, would you rather win it or not win it? It's kind of an easy one to talk about, isn't it? But so yeah, crap tweet, Ollie. Try better next.
What did you think of it when you read it?
No, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting. I mean, yeah, I think it's interesting. Like sort of talk about like 1961. Like, you know, it's what's that, 60 odd years ago. It's a long time for a club like supposedly as big as we are. It's kind of feel like the Europa League is kind of our next biggest trophy.
That's weird. So they're saying the Europa League is bigger than the FA Cup then?
Well, but this is why it's interesting, because then you also got the 2 UEFA Cups as well, sort of during the 80s that we won as well, which kind of fit into that sort of thing, which is now the Europa League, I think, anyway. So it kind of is the same. But yeah, I think if we were to win the Europa League, win the League Cup, probably the most successful season we've had since then. Depending on how you define success as well. But I just thought it was a good little tweet just to spark a bit of debate on sort of how, you know, we view success. And even Jez said there, like, even with all of that, the only reason it's good is because it gets you Champions League. It's not even about just the glory of winning it. It's the fact that it gets you to the next level in terms of like the finances and put you in the Champions League, and, you know, takes you to that level where, you know, the glory isn't necessarily there, but the financial reward is glorious in that sort of sense there. So it's a really interesting little kind of caveat to win it. But like you're right, it is kind of ruined by the fact that, or made, I suppose, potentially, depends how you look at it, by the Champions League teams dropping into it. Because yeah, it does make it look like a lesser tournament, which like you say, I think it's more of the feeling that the tournament is lesser that makes you not want to win it, even though you obviously do want to win it now when you're into the tournament. It's more of, given the choice, you'd probably say, we'll just focus on the league rather than be in the Europa League and trying to get top 4 in the league at the start of the season.
I think it's quite an English attitude, though, isn't it? That as well,
massively.
Because you see like foreign players crying when they've won the Europa League and etc. Whereas our clubs and our fans seem to just kind of look down their nose at Europa a bit, and it's not really respected nearly as much as it should be. So hopefully, you know, by the time if we get to the final, boys, we'll sing it up. His praises massively.
It'd be interesting to find out from like people that follow football abroad, because obviously in this country everyone talks about getting top 4. I wonder if that's a thing in like Italy and Spain and Germany. Do they just say about getting into Europe, or do they say about getting into the Champions League being massive? It'd be interesting to see how they view it.
I think in Germany it's quite a big thing. I think the top 4 in Germany is quite a big thing, but then Bayern Munich win everything there anyway, so it's kind of the only thing they can fight for. They can't fight for the League Cups, can you really?
German football and German fans are more similar to English fans, I think, as well. Than other countries, let's say.
Spain interesting. Very much so.
I would say as well, chaps, though, but what's better? I mean, is it better to win the Europa League and go into the Champions League, or is it better to win the FA Cup and go into the Community Shield? So
you love the Community Shield.
You said the Community Shield, Jez, didn't you?
Love the Community Shield. I think there's a big part of me that would fit, even with my head, yeah, you win the Europa and getting Champions League football, and the money that comes to that is obviously bigger for the club. But with my heart, winning the FA Cup and then getting to play in the Community Shield is so exciting, and I would definitely be getting tickets to that game. Absolutely.
Maybe next season. It'll be interesting. And another thing I was going to ask you boys about as well, they talk about this sort of Mourinho's second season, sort of third season syndrome, don't they? They talk about, or whatever it is. to me, this is Mourinho's first full season with us. So this is kind of season one.
Are you cheating?
So I'm cheating. But next season is the season we're going to win all the trophies.
Okay. I'm in. I'm invested.
Yeah, we can believe that. Right, let's tail it off though, boys, after Ollie's tweet of the week.
You got to sing the theme tune, Joe.
Fulham predictions and niche.
Let's go into the predictions. There's no Europa. Oh, look, very quickly. And I only want in one word from both of you. Happy with the draw for the Europa for us, Ollie, Dinamo?
Can't not be. We talk about sort of the...
One word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You said can't. You said can't.
I said you, technically.
So, Pete, what would you say? Happy with it,
Yes.
Zagreb? Yes, you are. And well done for following the format.
Thank you.
And well done for jumping on this chat box over here. Get rid. But let's go on to the predictions. So, Fulham, are we at home or we're away?
Away, we drew at home.
Oh, as we did. Massively poor result. All right, we're at home. Who wants to go first?
We're away.
We're away. We're all at home right now. Spurs are going away. Away to Fulham. Who wants to jump in first?
Go on, Pete.
2-1 to Spurs. And a Sergio Reguilon goal.
Ooh, oh, nice. I'd like that. Got a fancy team. I'll go with Joe. I'm riding the wave. I'm going to say 3-0 to Spurs. We're in shit hot form now. 3-0 to the Spurs, and the niche thing I will go for is I'll tell you what, is it niche enough if I say Mora to score for the third game in a row?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
But also play dreadful.
I'm going to go 1-0 Spurs, because Fulham have been really good at the back, to be fair to them. So I'm going to base my prediction on the other team rather than our team. And what's my niche? My niche going to be? I'm going to say Sanchez, man of the match.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that one.
That should be worth extra points if it's right.
Fair play. And then
if we get a clean sheet, it's got to be in for a shout, surely.
And we'll bail out. We'll bail out of this one, everyone, after a fantastic performance from Gareth. We're all for you out there. Please subscribe to us. Please like us. Please comment. Please talk to us. Please make us feel like there's any point of us doing this. If you please.
Give us hope.
For the Spurs, and as always, we hope you've been entertained. We certainly have been entertained by ourselves because we're bloody losers. But all the best. Cheers, guys, for tuning in. Thanks, boys, for coming. Best man on it.